Hi everybody, welcome back to another Python tutorial. In this tutorial we'll be covering if statements, which are known as conditionals. Now basically, if we're going to be using conditionals, we want our program to be able to intelligently, or quotes, intelligently, make decisions about the information that is being parsed through it. So for this reason we have if statements. So in Python you can write if and then a Boolean expression which will be evaluated as true or false, then colon, indent, execute some strip of code or something like that. I could say print 1. And then I could even go on to the next line and say, oh, whoops, I'm going back to Python 2 here. And you could even go on to another line and say set some new variable var equals a. But first we need some sort of Boolean. So it's going to take whatever phrase you give it and it's going to evaluate it as true or false. So I could say if 1 equals 1, certainly 1 equals 1, then it's going to print 1 and set some variable a. Okay, so that's exactly what we thought we would get. We also have, so if it's false, so if 1 equals 2, then Python just says, okay, this is not true, therefore I'm not going to evaluate the next code beyond this, and it simply ends running the program. So that's basically it for that. You could go on to do another if statement. If we'll say true here, then colon, print this is a conditional tutorial. Okay, so it evaluated 1 equals 2 as wrong. Then it said, I don't even have to do this code afterward. Then it says if, and it evaluates this Boolean as true. Now if I set this Boolean to be false, then it simply says this is wrong, this top part is wrong, so I'm just going to skip past this indented code, go on to this next one, and see this is false, because false means false in Python, and it's just going to skip that and finish the program. One cool thing that I could do is if for some reason it gets past the first if statement, it will go on to do this. I can put in another if statement within this. If var equals a, which we already said before, so now it's stored in memory, var is stored as the string a, then print a, oh, I forgot my a is our var. Oh, I forgot my semicolon. A is our variable. Okay, so this did exactly what we thought that it would. If 1 equals 1, check. Evaluate this line of code. Check, it printed out 1. Then it set a variable equal to a. It was already in memory like that before, so even if I took out this line of code, I'll just show you, because even though we don't set it in this one program, it's sort of like stored in the interpreter's memory. I don't really know a better way to describe it but that. But we get the exact same output when I run that cell because A is still being stored in memory. And we'll talk more about that later. But it evaluated this true, ran this line of code, went on to this one, noticed that this one was true, and then did this block of code. And we could keep tabbing and we could keep doing if statements, but I think I'll pass on that because I think you get the picture. A couple more things. You can also use like comparison operators. So if 1 is greater than 0, I could do this. I would get the exact same output. Or if 1 is greater than or equal to 0, which is, oh, whoops, 1 equal to 0. And then it does the same thing, as long as that's true. If I said if 1 is less than or equal to 0, then it simply doesn't evaluate this, and it would totally skip this later if statement because it was conditional on this first part being true. Another one that you can use is not equal to. So you could say exclamation point equals sign, and 1 doesn't equal 0, so we get our same expression, or our same output. You can also compare variable names. So just try a lot of the things that you've been learning. Var equals a. Same thing works. And okay. The next part that I want to talk about is else. So if the if statement gets evaluated as false, then like we said before, our program just shuts down. It says, okay, that's false, so I'm just going to go on to the next thing. Well, there turns out to be a way that you can execute something else, and you use else. So this is just the code that your program would run if the first if turns out to be evaluated as false. So else print if statement turned false. Oh, we forgot to do this. If variable equals b, how about? If statement returned false. So that's exactly what we thought our program would do. So it's good. It's always good to test if your program is behaving like you think it will with simple, silly examples as you're coding. And then the last thing that I wanted to show you is that you can use else if statements in the middle of your if sort of chain of if statements. So it could check these before it does else. Before resorting to else, which can often be like a catch-all category when you're trying to program for a set of conditions, you might be able to catch other ones with else if. So let's set a few new variables here. Let's say I'll make a new cell, or I'll put this one over it, and we'll say var equals hey, we already have that actually. I don't even need to do that, but it just shows up. It's easier. Var equals a. Let's say red equals b, and we'll do blue equals c. So if variable equals b, so we haven't even written our program yet. So the else if statement works just like an if statement, except that it comes after some if statement that you've already specified. And it's going to be checking these things in this order. We'll talk more about this later when we go on into flow of execution, which is just a really interesting topic. But for now, just stay with this. If variable equals b, our program does this. So at this point, our program, we expect to say, no, this is false. Go on to the next part, which would be elif. So it's going to check some other if statement. So elif red equals b, oh, that's an assignment, equals b. Then we still need our colon and our tab. We could say print, or something more interesting, 1 plus 1. Oh, we forgot to run that cell. Okay, didn't display the output, so print 1 plus 1. Oh, we don't want a string. There we go, so printed 2. So as we said, it checked this, said false, went on to check this, also saw that it was false. Now say that I said if red equals c, then it's going to say not this, nope, go on to the next one, check this, nope, go on to the next one, oh, no conditional, just said catch all, if all those were wrong, try this. So that's what it did. And we can keep doing this with other elif statements. So like I did another one, elif blue equals c, don't forget to put in that equals equals. That is what expresses equality, not the regular equal sign. That's an assignment. If blue is equal to C, print Python rules. Python rules with a capital R. So you can do this to make like fun programs if you want to. You could check a lot of different conditionals. I know it doesn't seem like a lot of fun right now, but it'll get more fun when we get into the projects. And that's pretty much all I have for today. So yeah, post any questions. And I'm working on a more interactive way to get people up and running with Python, just because I feel like that the best way to learn this is really by doing. Okay, see you for the next time.